The sun rises over Houston, casting a golden hue over a sprawling skyline. Traffic hums down I-45. Oil execs in Teslas, baristas on bikes, and families in minivans. Everyone is chasing something in this city. But here's the question that echoes louder than a SpaceX launch. Can you actually afford to live in Houston anymore? Or has the Space City dream turned into a financial orbit you can't break free from? Because while Houston's been sold as the affordable big city of Texas, the numbers on the ground tell a very different story. This is Houston Hustle. Can you really afford life in Space City? Let's get one thing straight. Houston isn't your average American city. It's a place of paradoxes. Sky-high skyscrapers next to flooded bayous, billion-dollar oil deals on one side of town, food banks and eviction notices on the other. And housing? It's gone from cheap to competitive faster than you can say gentrification. People have flocked here for decades for one big reason: affordability. Unlike LA or NYC, Houston used to be the place where you could buy a house with a backyard, land a job in energy, and still have money left for brisket and Beyoncé concert tickets. But lately, rents are climbing, property taxes are biting, insurance is skyrocketing thanks to hurricanes and climate risk, and that old-school Southern dream of financial comfort, it's on the ropes. Today, we're diving into the raw numbers, the shifting demographics, the politics, and the personal stories that define life in Houston in 2025. Is it still the American dream, or are we watching it slip away? Houston doesn't whisper its ambition, it shouts it. From the glimmering skyscrapers of downtown to the sprawling suburban labyrinths that fan out like solar flares across Harris County, this city radiates motion, expansion, reinvention. It's not just oil and astronauts anymore. It's tech startups sharing lobbies with barbecue joints. It's 300K homes with 4 bedrooms and backyards, 15 minutes from an international airport. It's also rent spikes, water bills the size of mortgages, and a daily commute that tests the patience of saints. So let's navigate what living in Houston really means, and whether the hustle pays off or eats you alive. The story of Houston's cost of living begins with a paradox. On paper, this city is affordable. Compared to Los Angeles, Seattle, or New York, Houston looks like a budget-friendly paradise. Median home prices hover just over $350,000. The state of Texas famously has no income tax. Gas is cheaper. Groceries are slightly less than the national average. And for those working in energy, aerospace, healthcare, or the fast-growing tech sector, salaries often outperform national benchmarks. But beneath those surface-level stats lies a more complicated truth. The cost of living in Houston is like its weather: unpredictable, intense, and sometimes overwhelming. Take housing, for instance. Yes, you can buy more space for less money than on the coasts, but that's only half the picture. Property taxes in Houston are among the highest in the nation. In fact, in Harris County, the average effective property tax rate is over 2.3%, nearly double the national average. That beautiful 350K house? It might carry an annual tax bill of $8,000 or more before you even consider homeowners insurance, which has skyrocketed due to climate volatility and flooding risks. And if you're renting, don't think you're off the hook. Houston saw an influx of over 120,000 new residents in the past 2 years. Demand has driven average rent for a one-bedroom apartment up nearly 25% since 2020. With many units now going for $1,400, $1,600 a month. Still cheaper than San Francisco, yes, but significantly more expensive than a few years ago. And utilities? Don't get me started. In peak summer, monthly electricity bills can soar above $300 just to keep your home from turning into a sauna. Now zoom out to transportation, because in Houston, you will need a car. Public transportation here exists more as a symbolic gesture than a practical system. Metro buses and the light rail cover limited zones, mostly catering to central areas. For most residents, especially in the suburbs, owning a vehicle isn't optional, it's survival. That means gas, insurance, maintenance, toll roads, parking fees, and the occasional tow when a tropical storm floods a low-lying underpass. And what about time? Commuting in Houston can feel like a full-time job. With urban sprawl comes traffic sprawl. The average Houstonian spends over 75 hours per year stuck in traffic, an entire 2 weeks of lost life per year to brake lights and podcasts. But let's not paint only the dark clouds, because Houston's economic weather system comes with sun too. Unlike many booming metros, Houston still offers a path to homeownership for middle-class families. It's one of the few major U.S. cities where a household making under $100K can buy a home in a decent neighborhood with good schools, access to major employers, and room to grow. The city's diverse economy cushions against single-sector collapses. If energy crashes, healthcare remains strong. If tech slows, logistics or construction picks up. The job market is no joke. Houston added more than 150,000 jobs in the past 12 months alone. It's not just oilfield engineers and nurses either. Remote tech workers are arriving in droves, attracted by the lower cost of living and business-friendly tax codes. International students graduating from Rice or the University of Houston are opting to stay, founding startups and tech firms, lured by a city hungry for innovation. And for families, Houston delivers. The city boasts some of the top medical facilities in the world. MD Anderson, Texas Children's Hospital. The massive Texas Medical Center complex that feels more like a city than a hospital district. You get world-class healthcare without flying to another coast. Parks and green space have seen heavy investment post-Hurricane Harvey. And schools, while a mixed bag, offer strong magnet programs, charter options, and some standout public campuses. Still, that diversity in outcomes is worth lingering on. Not all parts of Houston benefit equally. The cost of living differs wildly depending on where you plant roots. Living in the Heights or West University, expect to pay a premium. 800K homes, valet parking, $20 cocktails. Live in A-Leaf or Acres homes. You may get more for less, but access to services, transit, and high-performing schools can be limited. And then there's the elephant in the room, climate. Living in Houston means living with hurricanes. It means flash floods. It means watching radar maps every August and September with a tight knot in your stomach. Harvey in 2017 wasn't an anomaly, it was a warning. Rising insurance premiums reflect that. So do emergency preparedness kits and new building codes. Resilience comes at a cost, and for many homeowners, that cost is rising faster than their wages. So the real question isn't, is Houston affordable? It's, is your Houston affordable? If you're a young professional earning 6 figures at a remote tech job, absolutely. You'll get more house, more lifestyle, and less tax. If you're a nurse or a teacher, your commute may be longer, your home smaller, but you'll still enjoy better odds at ownership than you would in LA or Boston. But if you're in the gig economy, rideshare, delivery, retail, Houston's rising costs might outpace your earning potential. And that's a tough pill to swallow when the city sells itself as a haven of opportunity. The pandemic added another twist. As remote work took root, Houston's suburbs boomed. Places like Katy, Sugarland, Pearland, once sleepy outer zones, are now hotbeds of development. New master-planned communities promise everything from walkable town centers to splash pads and yoga lawns. But with every new development comes the strain. Schools bursting at the seams, roads clogged, emergency services stretched, and what was once a 25-minute commute has become 50, 60 or more. The urban core faces a different kind of squeeze. Gentrification is reshaping neighborhoods like Edo, Midtown, and the Third Ward. Rents climb, mom-and-pop shops vanish, and longtime residents watch their sense of place erode. Affordability, in this sense, isn't just about dollars. It's about dignity and displacement. Yet despite the complexity, Houston retains something rare: possibility. This is a city where reinvention is currency, where the skyline changes yearly, where new restaurants open weekly, cultural festivals light up every season, and entrepreneurs find footing faster than in calcified markets. It's a place that rewards risk, that supports hustle, that challenges you to grow. But growth comes with friction, and friction, left unchecked, becomes burnout. So should you move to Houston? Should you bet your budget, your lifestyle, your family's future on Space City? That depends on what you're looking for. If your dream is space, a yard, a garage, a home you own, Houston delivers. If you want to launch a business, grow a family, build equity instead of burning rent, Houston gives you a chance. If you're willing to endure the heat, the storms, the traffic, and the taxes to get a foothold in one of America's fastest evolving metros, it could be the best move of your life. But come with eyes wide open. That affordable lifestyle is increasingly elusive for those without upward mobility. Costs are creeping up. Infrastructure is straining. And while the city's heart is big, its systems aren't always ready for the pressure. In the end, Houston is not a bargain. It's a gamble, a bet on growth, ambition, and resilience. And like all bets, the odds depend on what you bring to the table. So if you're ready to hustle, to adapt, to chase the dream through traffic jams and thunderstorms, Houston might just be your launch pad. But if you're looking for an easy ride, keep driving. So how do you survive, maybe even thrive in Houston's changing landscape? First, choose your neighborhood wisely. Look at up-and-coming areas like East Downtown, EADO, Independence Heights, or parts of Cypress where property taxes are slightly lower and appreciation is strong. Buy flood insurance, even if you're not in a FEMA zone. It's cheaper if you lock it in early, and it can save your finances. Consider co-living or multi-generational homes. Many families are now combining resources to offset costs and stay within city limits. Use public transit when possible. It's limited, but Metro Rail is expanding. Save on gas and stress. And finally, be real about your numbers. Don't romanticize the move. Calculate not just rent or mortgage, but insurance, gas, tolls, groceries, and time. Hustle smart, not blindly. This year, Houston City Council is pushing for expanded affordable housing units and increased property tax exemptions for seniors and low-income homeowners. There's also a proposed initiative to cap rental increases in certain neighborhoods, though it's facing resistance from developers. Meanwhile, developers continue to pour billions into mixed-use spaces and tech hubs. Elon Musk's companies have doubled their Houston footprint, while Apple recently announced a new satellite campus in the Woodlands. That means more jobs, but potentially more housing competition. Climate experts also warn that unless Houston updates its flood infrastructure, insurance premiums could rise another 20% by 2027. A recent FEMA remapping has already moved thousands of homes into new flood zones. So yes, Houston is booming, but the foundation needs attention. So, can you afford the coastal life in Houston? The answer depends on where you're starting from, what you're chasing, and how much hustle you're willing to put in. Houston still holds opportunity, but it no longer hands it out for free. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I really appreciate you watching. If you found this useful, a like would be fantastic, and subscribing helps me keep creating content you'll hopefully enjoy. Please share your experiences and any questions in the comments. I always try to read and respond. Your support keeps this channel going. Until our next video, take care and have a wonderful day.